What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Stocks to Watch. And today, again, we had a very interesting day with large caps leading the entire market and mid caps kind of falling apart. And we can clearly see that with this is the Nifty chart for the day. So, this is Nifty intraday chart. We started off a little slower, but then towards the end, we kind of, any bear is having a really bad time. But if you look at the mid cap index, it was kind of weak from the start and it is kind of not able to really hold on to the highs. Essentially put, I think again within mid caps we've got a lot of pockets which are moving really well, and one example would definitely be Sonam Limited. I think this is the one that we did discuss 2 episodes back, and here's the clip which will show that to you. We've got Sonam Limited. Now, this is a micro cap name, so do your own due diligence before kind of doing anything with this one. But the setup and the structure is really nice. I think technically this can outperform the markets. Now you can see that this one has already moved up, I think 20-25% from the lows. So yeah, about 33% in about 3 days, which is really crazy. So again, you've got stocks like this, and then you've got stocks which are kind of not doing really well. So banks are doing very well. Apart from that, there are a bunch of large caps which have done really well. And now I think there is some very good news for PSU life insurance companies. So keep on radar. I think NIACL, I'll just add them in the list. So I think NIACL and Jikri, I think both of them would be in focus tomorrow because the government is mulling fundraise for these insurance companies and maybe a stake sale. I think the stake sale discussion is kind of getting hotter and hotter by the day. So I think Jikri and NIACL would be the ones to watch out for, specifically because of the catalyst. Now, coming on to stocks that are going to be on my watch list for tomorrow, and then again, there are a bunch of names. So now, Poonawalla FinCorp looks really nice, contracting base around the EMAs with the volume dry up. And we've seen finance, rental, and leasing companies doing really well. So I've got about, I think, Bajaj Finance, I've got Muthoot Finance, and I think I've got one or two more finance companies over here. And we've also seen companies like Home First Finance do really well. So I think this entire theme is looking really attractive. Next up, we've got Nika. I think we've had discussions about Nika for the last two trading sessions. I think tomorrow it could do something like this. I am expecting like a 4 or 5% move in Nika tomorrow. So I think I'm going to be really excited to see how this one works. The only reason why I'm focusing on stocks nearing their demand, because we're literally at very stretched valuations and I'm not really very comfortable. And I think this is something very similar that Paytm did. So I would love to show Paytm to you. So I'll just go on to my other list just to show you what Paytm did, and you'll kind of get a good idea on what are we referring to. So again, similar things Paytm did. Paytm created a demand zone, created an order block, and then just moved higher, even though it had a negative catalyst. So I think there could be something interesting in Nika. Next up, we've got Muthoot Finance. Now, this stock has been moving really nicely, and now it's time for this to kind of break the supply. Gold prices have stabilized. Everything is really nice. Jewelry stocks have already been doing well. So I think that's the second cycle that would probably restart where gold finance companies are going to do really well. And we also know that IIFL Finance already has, 3 or 4 months back, I think we saw IIFL having a negative catalyst, meaning that they can't disperse more gold loans, and that means Muthoot Finance was the real leader. So I think this could be the start of Muthoot Finance doing really well. Next up, we've got Power India Hitachi. Now, this one is more of a setup which kind of failed today, but if it still manages to kind of hold on to these lows, creates a base over here, I think this high can be taken out. So again, this is not something which is like my A plus play, but I think this is going to be really good. Next up, we've got Bajaj Finance. I'll just remove all the other things. So now Bajaj Finance is approaching this particular supply area. It's definitely not going to be very easy, but with the way Nifty 50 is moving, Bank Nifty is moving, and other NBFC and finance names are moving, I think Bajaj Finance is going to be an interesting one to watch out for. Next up, we've got ITC, and yes, for all the right reasons, tobacco stocks have been doing really well. ITC has been basing really nicely. It has relative strength as compared to the overall market. So all in all, I think there is no reason to not be involved with ITC. So I think everything is pretty much sorted with ITC. So keep this one on radar. Now, the next sector in the spotlight is going to be IT. So now IT has been underperforming post Accenture's very, very poor guidance. And if you don't know what Accenture is basically a US big giant IT company. And whatever earnings guidance that they give, it's really, really important for IT companies, and at least for the sentiment of IT companies, because majority of IT company businesses, at least large cap IT business, comes in from America. So now, with all of that being said, TCS has come back to an area of demand, and I think this is going to be an interesting place for us to watch this out. So I think TCS is at a value buying area. Same thing is happening with the Wipro. I think this is also setting up on those same lines. So I think Wipro and TCS. Apart from that, I think there are other IT companies also persistent. We've got, I think, Emphasis. We've got other Tech Mahindra, HCL Tech. I think we've got all these other names also. But from a technical standpoint, only these two were like looking really good. Next up, we've got UFO. Now we've seen what Shemaroo did today. I think up 16-17%. Mukta Arts signed a pact with Z Limited. So I think Mukta Arts is also doing really well. So I'll just add these and then remove them. So Mukta Arts, I'll just add, and I'll add Shemaroo, and I'll also add tips. So I'll just tell you what the media sector is actually doing, and you'll basically get a good idea. So now look at these names, right? Mukta Arts up 20%, Shemaru up 14%, and Tips up 3%. And on similar lines, we've got UFO Movies, which again has been creating a really, really long, nice base. I think this sector is kind of heating up. So I think this one, and if you want to add Balaji Telefilms also to this list, you can really do that. Although it's not directly correlated, but it was still doing decently well. Although this one is like pretty much a dead stock at the moment. So I'm not really interested in Balaji Telefilms at all. But I think these ones could really do really nice things tomorrow. Next up, we've got Sangam India, and now textiles is another theme which I really like. Now, Sangam India technically is very, very nice in terms of the textile names. There were a bunch of other textile names also which I liked, but the technical structure was not really that great, and they were a little extended. So again, Sangam India is the best one from the lot. As far as textile names are concerned, the base is really nice, and I think there is a lot of move for this one to run. Next up, we've got GM Breweries, and now this is another alcohol stock, and this structure looks absolutely insane. So I'm really, really waiting for this pivot high to kind of get taken out, and I think there's going to be a big move coming in GM Breweries as well. So I think this is really nice. Everready. Now, this one is more of a positional pick. Now, we've seen what Amara Raja Batteries has done. Now, Everready is basically trying to move out of this really, really, really long base, and this is from 2017. So it's almost, I think, over, 7-8 years, and I think this is going to be really, really interesting to see. So I think Everready is setting up really well. This is a more of a positional place. I'm going to be looking to watch this out. Goa Carbon, another industrial specialty industry, which is basically going to be doing really nice. The base is nice. Volumes have been picking up. So I think this one is also, you can really extend this base all the way until here. So I'm really liking the way it's setting up. Next one is another name which is more of a value buy. Now, this has been like a poor performer overall. This is Pratap Snacks. Now, what I really like is the fundamentals of the company are really good, and this is actually available at a deep discounted price. So I personally feel that this is really like that 6 month positional play, which you're basically buying a stock at decent volumes, at decent prices. And the most important thing is really what's happening here, right? So much volume kicking in, and that means something is definitely cooking up. And we are basically around the same areas where we've seen institutional build up historically, right? So all of these areas look really interesting and really nice to me. So I think this is also great. Rama Phosphates, I think this stock, we've been discussing this for the second straight time now, and Rama Phosphates and the entire, I think, agri-chemical sector, I've been talking about this for the last two consecutive episodes. They've been doing really well. So Rama Phosphates is another interesting name. Steel City is another big base kind of a setup. So just look at this entire base. So I really like it, and I also really like the way it is, contracting around the EMA. So I think this is also going to be really interesting one. Although it's not ready for a move yet, but I think I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this. Barbecue Nation is the next name. Now, we've seen what Devyani has done. We've seen what Sapphire has done. And it's from the same pack. Now, this is an Ashish Kacholia stock. Although this stock has, I think underperformed for a really, really long time. But right now, I think things are picking up. This up move with a very, very low dried up volume. I think everything is kind of setting up for this one. So I think this one would be doing really well. And remember that we are about to see the Q3 come in. November, December quarter is usually the best one for Barbecue Nation specifically and the entire sector. So keep this one on radar as well. The next one is West Coast Paper. Again, a very, very technical play coming back to the order block, reacting from there, creating a base. So everything is really nice. We've also discussed Sonam Limited. Now, obviously, this is nowhere near the entry, but a similar setup worked really nicely. Landmark Cars is another play, and there's a disclosure here. We already have a position in Landmark Cars. We took it today. So please do your own due diligence if you're trying to play any of these stocks. This is all for educational purposes. Just a standard disclaimer so that you can make your own informed decisions. But Landmark Cards, again, it's the premiumization theme. We've seen what Ethos has done. We've seen what all jewelry stocks like Senko, we've seen Moti Sons, we've seen Kalyan, we've seen TBZ, we've seen like all of these premiumization themes play out really, really well. So I think Landmark Cards is just about to kickstart and take off. The valuations are reasonable. The premium pre-sales, post-sales, the secondary sales and the primary sales market in the premium car category has been growing really fast. Diwali coming up. That's the season where all of these companies make their maximum sales, and there are going to be lots of festive offers. So I think it's just a cyclical kind of a play. So Landmark Cards, definitely from a positional standpoint, I think this is a really, really good name. Apart from that, all of these other stocks we've already discussed, and as far as Nifty is concerned, it just doesn't fail to create a new high, and the bulls are just in charge. So that's it from this episode. If you really like this, please drop in a like, hit the comment box, and do subscribe to the channel. I hope you are benefiting from all of this research, and I hope me and my team, all the efforts that are putting in, you are able to extract the maximum value out of them. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. And I wish you all the best for your trading day tomorrow. Thank you.